Hi guys, welcome back to is it another episode? It's been a long time. It's been I think almost an year since I last posted. Um, yes, YouTube is a lot of work, which personally I'm not into it. So I'd rather just do my content on Instagram and stuff and take care of you guys from there. But anyway, if you have a question, feel free to DM and ask. Or you can leave a comment in the comment section below. So today I am here with my client. Hi, Karibu. So as you can see, the hairstyle she has now is human hair temporary locks, which I just launched last month. Yeah, last month or this month? Last month on the 18th. So it's been 1 month now. It's been on offer. Installation has been on offer for a while. In case you missed it, sorry. But you could get more content or more updates on which offers we have monthly on our Instagram page. Back to my client, this is human hair locks. You can see, I think most people have been asking about what hair this is, and finally we are here to offer the hair. It's the first ever in Kenya. If you're into 254, maybe 247, 254, 254. So it's available, and I think we're the only ones in East Africa who are offering it at the moment. So we are here to answer questions on the locks, everything you need to know about these temporary locks. Now, you could have them installed permanently or temporarily, but for her, we've installed it temporarily. So yes, Karibu.
Thank you.
Yes, so let me give you the mic. We only have one mic, sorry. So we're going to enjoy. And please, people who are asking me, your music is too loud. Guys, I'm not a video editor. I'm doing my best, but I'm gonna make sure that this one has no background music, or if it does, it's gonna be very subtle. I'm gonna try and make it very subtle. Okay? Yes.
Alright, so we're going to have a Q&A on this hairstyle. So our first question is, I think you've already mentioned, but just tell us what's the name of this hairstyle?
The name Nanisikia. Anyway, this is human hair curly temporary locks. Basically human hair because it is human hair. So basically it is just human hair. It's temporary locks. It's just a type of locks, a style of locks, but now it's not made using human hair.
So what's the difference between these locks and the other temporary locks?
The major difference, apart from now the material used to make, is this one we use pure, a high grade human hair. So it's made, there's a technique we use to make the locks. That's number one. That's the major difference. Then the other locks is the one that's a very common. We use synthetic hair, just normal braid. That's number one. Number two, the difference would be the texture of the hair. You find, John, what's going on? I'll edit it. Anyway, so other difference, apart from now the texture, the material is also the texture. You find that these ones are way softer, especially for people who get easily irritated with synthetic hair. This would be a good option. Now the texture, these ones are way softer. Then number three, the weight. The weight of this one is way lighter. Even if you could take, once try to measure these ones versus the other ones. These ones were, I think, less by, do I remember? I think probably like 97 grams. I can't remember the exact ones, but these ones are way lighter. So even for people who enjoy swimming or athletes, this would be the lightest. Even especially for people who probably like travelers, hikers. Is that how hikers? People who hike, or this is a great option. Then a bonus would be also the fact that if you especially have back problems, maybe you find the normal braids to be heavy, especially on your neck. This is also a good option. And also if you have eczema, this is also a better option because there's no synthetic material, and also because of the texture it may not irritate the skin, especially you find people with eczema, especially if you have probably we call it an attack or maybe a severe eczema, especially on the back. This is a better option. So those are the major differences, and of course the price for this one is way higher. I mean, it's just the same way you buy bundles or human hair a week, so the price for this one is also higher. Then of course the other difference is for the synthetic ones you can't color, for these ones you can color. And then you notice for this one, since we leave the curly ends, any contact with water activates the curls, so you have no curls. Yeah.
Right. So do they come in different lengths and sizes?
Yes, they do. Basically, it's just the way human hair would come in different lengths. So yes, it does come. Depends on what you can afford or what is within your budget. So we already have a price list. Check on our Instagram, or you can DM for the price list. But basically, we have from 8 inches. Though that one is really short, I wouldn't really recommend because you risk them coming off. So I would say, unless maybe you want them attached to maybe your own locks, which is also another plus for this one because you can have them attached to your own natural locks. For example, if you're locked, you could, if you want the curly, we could attach this one. But I would say the best would be from maybe 12 inches going downwards. However, over the time I've installed, I've noticed clients with longer hair, since we fold the hair, part of your hair will contribute to the length of the lock. So you find clients who have longer hair, they can even install maybe even 12 inches or even 10 inches, because remember we are folding the hair, so it will contribute to the overall length of the hair. Because ideally, 10 inches should be around somewhere here. So if you have long hair, so it's gonna contribute to the length of the lock.
Yes. Right. So after installing the hair, now foam, is it okay if I wash them at home?
Yes, you can wash them at home. Of course, the rule is always, regardless of the style you have, whether it's protective, whether it's your own natural hair, number one is you use the sulfate-free shampoo. Though of course I always feel that is also depending on the products you're using, the care products you're using. Because if you're using something that has mineral oil, I would, or maybe like this too much dirt. I don't know where you're getting that from, but let's assume I would go in with a sulfate so that it really cleans. But I would say the safest option is regular washing with a sulfate-free shampoo, and you could opt for a liquid shampoo or a shampoo bar. I have samples here. My current favorites are this Trichofort. This is by Dr. Naurei, the trichologist. It's a sulfate-free hydrating shampoo, and it's actually good for swimmers. Why? Because it also acts as a chelating shampoo. A chelating shampoo is a shampoo that sort of like removes the, what are they called? The minerals. Do you call them the minerals? The salts, the chlorides, those ones. So this would act as a chelating shampoo. That's according to what I asked him. He said this is a good option for who swim. Then we have this Wodim's Naturals. This is a shampoo bar. I personally find it easier if I have a protective style to use a shampoo bar than a liquid shampoo bar, because I feel you can use this one a lot because you pour, it pours in the bathroom, but this one you just apply basically. And then the good thing is that it lathers very fast and it's very moisturizing. It has goat milk, shea butter, olive, sesame oil, but if you check the ingredients, it also has rosemary. It has a lot of oils. So this would be a good moisturizing, especially for people who are swimmers. In fact, I would even start with this one for the first shampoo, then going with this one for the second one, before now you go in with your other treatment. So yes, you can wash at home. The frequency of washing really, I would say, depends on your scalp type and the products you're using, because if you are oiling too much and you're on the oily side, you will need to sort of like cleanse often so that you avoid buildup and irritation. But for the rest, I would say the healthy way, especially for people who are really busy, I would say twice a month. Why? Because I tend to find that hair that is washed often, that is not very often, not like daily, but let's say once a week, versus hair that is washed once a month, then maybe this person sprits. Hair that is washed daily tends to retain more moisture. And I think that is because of the time you're shampooing, every part of your hair is drenched with water, right? Compared to when you spritzing, you're just spritzing, so you might miss some parts. Yeah. So yes, you can. Then of course, at home you could decide to do a deep conditioner or a deep treatment, protein or moisture. So the rule for us is always mix. So this time we do moisture, next time we do protein. We keep alternating. However, if we install them during assessing your hair, we notice that you have probably what do we call it? Excess protein. We would say you first stick with moisture first, then we can introduce protein later. Because most of the time, rarely do we get protein deficiency sort of in hair. So which that will mean probably you have too much moisture. Rarely do we get such cases. And then for protein, it's very easy to correct. Assuming you have excess moisture, it's very easy to correct it in one treatment. But for moisture, you really need to do a lot of treatments. Then you find most of the products, aftercare products that clients use, for example, leave-in treatments, leave-in conditioners, have some level of protein. So rarely do you find a case of someone who doesn't have protein at all. So that's why we encourage more moisture and more protein.
And how often do you want to come for a retouch?
Retouch, I always say the first time we install the locks, I would recommend after 4 weeks come for the first retouch. Then after there, you could risk maybe 8 weeks more. Because the first time is when now we need to assess the hair, how the hair is attaching to the lock. Like we need to assess the hair that soon. Then after that, you could go, stay with it longer. But I wouldn't say exceed 8 weeks or 2 months, that is.
Yeah.
Why? Is because you have new growth and the new growth starts mattifying. So by the time you're coming for a retouch, number one, it will be very painful. Number two, you'll have to cut some parts. And sometimes you find the hair has really locked. Sometimes it's even like it's a waste. So you've grown out the hair, but it's a waste because you have to cut it.
Yes. Right. And generally, how long does the hair last?
The human hair, I would say 5 to 9 months. I wouldn't recommend to extend longer with them. Because they are reusable, you can always uninstall and install later. In fact, if you install black, you can uninstall, then you color them, then you install them in a different color. So I would say 5 to 9 months. I tend to think some clients think the longer they stay, the more benefiting it is. It is a yes and no, because again, it depends on your hair texture, which also will contribute how long you stay with it. Because if you have fine hair, you can't exceed like 7 months really. But if you have maybe kinkier, more curly, tight curls, you could even go even 9 months. Yes.
So lastly, how do you maintain the locks?
Maintenance would be similar to the temporary ones. If you've not watched the other video, please go and watch. I think I need to do an update. So basically, it's daily spraying. I know I've had stylists who argue, daily spraying is not necessary, it's not important. And in my opinion, I think, of course, from the people I've heard this from, is mostly stylists from maybe abroad, which I do understand because I tend to think people there are more serious with their hair, so they come to the salon often. So really, spraying isn't that much. But for, let me say, Africans, especially Kenyans, because they want to save on costs, I would say spraying daily is important. Because when your hair is in the braided state, we really can't feel it and we can't assess to know what it needs. So we can't tell if it needs moisture or it needs protein. And remember, oil is not a source of moisture. So just because you're oiling doesn't mean you're doing the hair any favor. So I would say daily spraying. Now the rule of spraying is you do 3 days moisture, 2 days protein spray. Why? So that you strike a balance between moisture and protein. Now someone would ask, what is a protein spray, or can I DIY my own protein spray? I would discourage that, especially if you're not informed in formulation and all of that, because people assume just because you made it at home it's safe. It's not always the case. Because you need to, things like balancing the pH, making sure you won't have microbes growing inside the solution and stuff like that. So a protein spray would be probably, the blue spray, the lock spray. I think I've shown it in my other video. That would be the most ideal one. Why? Because it has some protein. It's written a protein softening spray or something like that. Yeah, so that would be a good option. I think Dreadz, see, you hand me over. I showed them. So as we were saying, this was a good option. Of course, they changed the packaging. I actually DM'd to ask them why they changed. I didn't get a very clear answer. So I don't know if this is counterfeit or legit. But they say they rebranded because I saw in their main page, this is how the new bottles look like. So this would act as a protein spray, and then this is a leave-in, but since it has a lot of protein, and how you can tell it has protein, it has a lot of hydrolysed keratin, hydrolysed wheat protein, PG propyl, hey, it has a lot of hydrolysed protein, so this is also a very strong one. Now the tip would be, especially if you have oily scalp, avoid spraying this on your scalp. Oily scalp, dandruff prone, because remember, you're not really trying to add protein to your scalp, it's supposed to be to your hair. So if this was the lock, probably I would just spray just where the lock is, not my scalp. Why? Because you tend to have build up with this. Then this one, because it has a lot of glycerin, will also the build up, and then now the irritation, so it'll start itching. So 2 days this, so maybe Monday, then maybe spray it maybe on Friday. Then the middle days you do moisture, and for moisture it's just water. Then you could decide to add an essential oil, maybe peppermint, rosemary, depending on what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to maybe prevent things like lice, microbial, maybe you have a fungal infection, go for essential oils that are probably antimicrobial. That is probably lavender, tea tree, and such, eucalyptus and such. If you're trying to promote blood circulation, go for spearmint, mint, peppermint, and all of those ones. So they're like minty, or even wintergreen is also going to promote hair growth because of blood circulation. And if you're trying to promote hair growth, I would say rosemary. Rosemary is the only oil that has been researched and proven to promote hair growth when it was compared to minoxidil. Minoxidil is it's like Rogaine, the solution that male use on male baldness. So compared to it, rosemary was found to be more effective. So if you're trying to promote hair growth, add that to your spray bottle. So 3 days moisture, 2 days protein. The rest you can dress, or if you decide, okay, I'm gonna go in moisture, go on. Then the other tip would be learning to oil, to seal in the moisture. So you could do that once or twice a week. Oh, I forgot to say, now if you're on the dry scalp, you can spray this on your scalp, because the glycerin is going to act as a humectant, which is going to help draw moisture to your scalp also. Yeah. Have I answered? Yes. Another thing, for swimmers, I would say if you're swimming, the rule is always you drench your hair with pure water, fresh water first before going into the pool. That will make sure by the time you're going into the pool, your hair has already soaked in water, so it's not going to soak more water, the chlorinated water, okay? Or if you're in a place, assuming you're in coast and every water is salty, what you do is use an oil that's an occlusive. Occlusives are oils that create a barrier for water penetration. So that could be something like castor oil or even baobab oil. So those would be ideal.
Yes. So about when sleeping?
Oh, when sleeping, the rule is always for either you sleep on a satin pillowcase or silk, or sleep in a satin bonnet. Why? Because that is going to help retain moisture and also prevent freeze. Why we encourage those is because when you're sleeping on a cotton pillowcase, the whole point of cotton is to suck out moisture. That's why you even find out when you're wearing maybe a cotton t-shirt versus when you're wearing a nylon t-shirt. Most likely when you're wearing a nylon one, you'll tend to feel sweat if you're sweaty, trickling down your body. But when it's cotton, the cotton t-shirt is bound to get wet, so it absorbs the moisture, and that's not something you want for your hair. Yes. I always discourage a lot of manipulation, because remember, sometimes you can do a very nice protective style, stay a little long, but you're over manipulating it by styling it. So I would still say, now the good thing about these ones, the human hair locks, is you can let it down because they're not heavy compared to the other ones, so they do not pull. But if you had the other ones, I would also discourage letting them down. Now for these ones, letting it down is okay. Styling should be very minimal. I personally discourage, and in fact I don't do the permanent styling, where you find someone is like, what is it called, shonwad. Then they come like a month later to us, because I'm like, okay, that hair is in one position for so long. Then of course there's pulling, because we need to thread it down kabisa. So we try to avoid that. So styling should be minimal, and then also avoid, if you're into ponytails, avoid holding hair in one position for long. So if you're gonna hold it here this time, make sure next time maybe a different place so that you distribute the tension. Because you find there are times where you find the client has been holding. They have very long beautiful hair, but since they've been holding the hair in one place, that place tends to have no hair because of that pulling.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We are done. Still lazima uzime.